Now, if you don't think the world is getting worse, and exactly what I said just 2 videos ago about how things are getting, take a listen to this. Because, actually, I'm on radio time, so watch this and then listen to this. Because this is phenomenal. This is going to shock you. Something I heard coming out on New Year's Day is pretty shocking, so stick around.
And now we interrupt, disrupt, and crash this station.
The man fighting for peace, his legacy, truth in a sea of stupid.
Filtered for your sarcastic enjoyment, Ghost Getter.
Now, I was riding in the car the other day, and I was listening to a morning news thing that talked about the number one cause of death in 2018. Now, there are a lot of people on 2 different sides that will argue this, but it doesn't matter. One is enough to argue, much less this amount. The leading cause of death in 2018 is abortions. Over 41 million children have been aborted in 2018. 41 million. If you're not talking about the world being falling into darkness, then I don't know what the heck you're looking at. Because if you can't see it, then there is something seriously wrong with you. You to sit there and think that this is normal and it doesn't bother you. There is something seriously wrong with you. Now, I'm not a big follower of certain websites. Breitbart is one of them. Isn't one of my favorite ones, because some people say it's more conservative than anything. But, and I had to do my slight research on this because Snopes had to get their nose in on it. And of course, they're more liberal than anything. And I say this because I looked up a list a while back that said more people. It had a kill list of people that died mysteriously under Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's reign of terror in the 90s. And Snopes stuck their nose in it and said that didn't happen at all. That's not true. There were people that died there was that many people that died under Bill Clinton, but no one really knows how it happened. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you dummy. That's what mysterious means. No one knows how they died. But more people did die. So they pretty much acknowledged what this thing said and what has been going on. So Breitbart reporting leading cause of death in 2018 with 41 million killed. Now, I looked it up where they get their where they have their sources from. And it came from this particular site, and here it is. And it comes from this meter, and according to them, it's a worldwide, this year alone, 427,842. This is a meter that gives, it's a pretty cool meter, actually. It tells you things that are going on right now, how many people are being born, how many cars are being made, how much money is being spent. And it's got like a clock counter, and these things are going up as I go along. Now, you can say it's coming from some BS site, but they take this information from the most acknowledgeable and prestigious places, such as the CDC, Car and Driver, different things like that. They get their information from the most important places. That's why I don't see it as being a fraud. Now, they say this sources and methods, this definition of abortion is a termination of pregnancy. Of course, this year refers to a period of January 1st, and they already have 427,000. And the meter is counting as we go up right now. Every year in the world, we're estimated 40 to 50 million abortions. This corresponds with approximately 125,000 a day. We're already in January 4th, and it's 427,000 already. So we're probably going to surpass that. In USA, where nearly half of pregnancies are unintended and 4 in 10 of these are terminated by abortions. There are over 3,000 abortions per day, 22% of all pregnancies in the USA, and excluding miscarriages and in abortion. Now, this meter is constantly going up over and over and over again. As I look at it now, it's 429,000 now, and the clock just keeps going up and up and up. 429,000 now. I'll give you the final results in the end, but I guarantee you it's going to be over 430 by the time we're done with this conversation. Now, I'll leave the link at the bottom of the world meters because it's kind of cool. World meters is what it's called. Anything from TVs and computers to be produced, world population, accidental deaths, that sort of thing. But the point is, my problem with this is, tell me that the world is not becoming darker and darker and darker than ever before. Not to mention now, of course, they said on the radio, and I don't have the sources right now, but they said on the radio that millennials are having less and less sex without marriage, and also not getting married because their minds are focused on other things, so that's a good thing. But when you see statistics like this, it tells you that nothing's really changing. Nothing's really going on to prevent it. We complain in this country about why in the world don't we take away guns because our children are being killed in schools and on the streets, but we do nothing to stop things like this. Someone made I don't know if you call it a joke, earlier and said, let me see how this goes. They said that a man asked God, why did you allow my son to die of cancer? And God answered him and said, because you aborted the person who had the cure earlier. Now, that's not really that funny, but when you think about that, it makes pretty good sense. You don't know what people that you're eliminating. You don't know what kind of person or future generations that you're destroying. Now, you think about one person alone and how generations come from that one person alone. They say in World War II that if you watched the movie in 1981 called The Final Countdown, when they asked, why would you want, the movie's about a aircraft carrier that goes back in time, and they tried to stop Pearl Harbor. And the guy asked, why would you want to do that? Think about it. If you stop Pearl Harbor, think about someone that dies in Pearl Harbor and their wives get remarried later on, and they have generations of children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Society, the population would completely be changed if you stopped Pearl Harbor. Think about the people that would be saved. Think about the people that would die. Think about the people that would not exist. People that discovered some amazing things, or people that would have, who knows, maybe even the worst people may have not have been born. But the purpose is, when we seen this in World War II with Adolf Hitler, he completely wiped out generations of people. I have seen disgusting old videos, and it still is one of those things that I cannot get out of my brain. It was an accidental thing once going around on the internet where they were taking babies being born, and it was like an assembly line. The perfect children they kept, but the imperfect children they did not like, they threw in a bin. And it was almost like, products, TVs or something that you made, toys that went down the assembly line. If something looked flawed, they got rid of it. If something didn't, they kept it. These were the heinous, disgusting things that were going on with scientists and the Nazis and things like that during World War II. Now, we see this going on, and we have people like, the Democrats that want to keep this going on and things like that. The disgusting images of how they abort children and things like that. Now, I am against it for that reason, because of it is not moral. It is not moral. It is not something that you have to be insane. You literally have to be insane not only to make that decision, but you have to be insane to actually do it, to go through with it. Think about a person a doctor or someone that goes through with the job of aborting children. Think about the thousands of people, thousands of children that he has killed. How does the person justify that in their own conscience and live? The world is getting more and more dark. Question is, why is it becoming more and more satanic? Why is it becoming more and more demonic? Why is this sort of thing being more allowed to happen? And I can only say that there is a reason. There has to be a reason why they are trying to eliminate that many generations and that many children more and more every year. It's disgusting. It's unbearable to hear, and it's unbearable to watch anything that deals with that subject. Is this against God's law? Heck yes, it's against God's law. But the question is, why in the world would it become so demonic? And the only thing I can answer to that is they are eliminating children for a reason. There are generations of children they are killing, and there is a reason for this. Why, I don't know, but something has to be done to stop it. We are living in a world now where more and more people are falling away from God than ever before. More and more people do not want to have anything to do with God than ever before. More and more people are falling away from morals alone than ever before. We have more angry people. We have more people that just don't care what they put on TV, don't care what they put on the radio, don't care what they say to others, don't care how they treat others, don't care how they drive, don't care about anything but themselves. They don't care how they treat their bodies. They don't care how they treat anyone else's bodies. They do not care about their own morals, much less anyone else's morals. Respect is gone completely out the window. We have children that do not listen to teachers anymore, that do not listen to authority anymore, that do not listen to adults anymore, that do not care. We recently had in Houston one particular 14-year-old that was throwing eggs with a friend of his at cars. When the guy decided to stop and get out and chase them with a gun, one of them got into a 14-year-old got into a SUV when he shouldn't have been driving in the first place, ran through a stop sign or a red light, and barreled into a 45-year-old mother and killed her instantly in the car. So we have teenagers and children now that get a slap on the wrist. They do not care. They do not get punished for their horrible misdeeds. Parents don't teach them morals. Parents don't teach them right from wrong. We've taken God out of the schools. We've taken God out of the government. Now, we don't need that anymore. And look what happens. We have politicians that curse out other politicians. We have actors and musicians that threaten politicians. And then we have other politicians that threaten other politicians and tell people we should do this and we should do that. And then we have children, teenagers, and young people that follow this. And they say, well, if they say it's okay to abort people, then we can go and have sex anytime we want to, and we just abort our children and everything will be okay. So the morals go right out the window because they don't feel it's wrong, because nobody has taught them that this is wrong. No one has taught them. This is the whole point of having, one of them anyway, this is the whole point of having God in our lives. This is the point of having God in our schools, because at least It keeps some amount of respect and morals in our own lives and tells us right from wrong. And maybe people say, well, you're going to burn in hell. We don't want to hear that. We're going to burn in hell. We're forced to be guilty. If we're not feeling like we're guilty, even though I don't believe in that, you'll die and go to hell. If we don't feel like we're guilty, if we don't have any sense of guilt in our lives, this happens. We abort 41 million children a year. We kill people for no reason whatsoever. We walk into schools and shoot them up. We walk into businesses and shoot them up. We treat other people with disrespect because we feel like we haven't done anything wrong because we're not taught this. And by the way, speaking of which, Hollywood, they seem to think that it's okay to put out the movies that they're putting out and then complain and say, well, women should be treated with respect. Women should be treated like this and they should be treated like that. And still put out movies that are horrific and with sexual assaults and pornographic material. And even musicians do this. And then they turn around and say, well, we should treat women with respect. Really? Really? How about respecting them first before you tell everybody else to respect them? How about that? And so they don't care either. So you have women being born, you have males being born, and then no one knows what gender they are anymore, so they're gender neutral. Are you insane? Is this world becoming more and more darker? Can it get any more darker? And I think it will get a lot more darker. And I think it will get a lot more uglier because people don't even know who the hell they are anymore, so they don't care what they do to anyone else. And so the world becomes darker and darker and darker. And I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. And I am telling you right now, things are going to get bad, and no one on this planet is going to be safe. No one. Not you, not me, not anybody. And why is this? Because we walk around with no morals, we walk around with no respect, and we walk around like we just don't care what we do to each other and what we do to ourselves. And until we wake up and do something and start changing ourselves instead of acting the way we act, following politicians who frankly do not care about you whatsoever, the government shutdown, like they care about you. Like they care about what we do. Have some morals. Have some respect for yourself and have some respect for others. And maybe things will change, but until that day, we're in for an ugly, ugly roller coaster ride. And it's going to happen very, very soon because this is happening at a rapid pace, an ugly, rapid pace. I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope things will get better. I hope they're good in your life. Until then, thanks for listening, and check out the radio station 24/7. Till next time, guys and gals. See ya. By the way, I was wrong. I said 431 by the time we were done. It is now 432,302. And how many children were born so far this year? 1,888,000. So this is a huge chunk out of that statistic. Think about that.